Queens, back to our place in the...
Hi, I'm Eric from my phone and welcome to another video. Today we are going to listen to the album Better Oblivion Community Center by the collaboration of Better Oblivion Community Center, which is between Phoebe Bridgers, who we know and love, and Conor Oberst, who I don't know much at all about. So I'm happy to hear about that down in the comments below. This was requested a while back and I'm just so excited now that it seems like also like a lot of my fellow reaction YouTubers are finally getting into Phoebe, even like the pop and mainstream ones. Because as you know, Punisher was my original reaction that started my channel, and so I'm really happy that Phoebe's getting a lot more love as of late, and so I think it's time to dive into another one of her larger bodies of work. It's just 10 songs, 37 minutes, so I'm just gonna see what they have to share. I wonder if it's different than Punisher, I wonder if it's different than what I've heard of Phoebe otherwise. We'll just find out. Anyways, let's get into it. Also, 2 points. Yes, the pipes still run in my room. Yes, I keep the fan on to minimize that pipe noise. And today my back is also hurting, so if I'm at all like curt or abrupt about certain things, those are reasons why. I'm a little stressed. Track number 1, didn't know what I was in for, and I don't know what we're in for. Okay, feeling pretty acoustic. My telephone doesn't have camera. Interesting way to start out. Take a picture of myself, take a picture of the water. I'll work here for the summer. Everybody looks happy with each other. Oh, I like how they're both, this is both like got loud and came together. There's no way I'm curing cancer? Yeah, you're folding towels. Selling clothes to the fashionably late. Oh shoot. Ooh, that repetition of too much. My arms were strapped in a straitjacket. Ooh, a Alanis reference. I like how we brought this percussion in. It feels nice. Ooh, that sunburn, like honest metaphor? Okay. Otherwise, you'd have to listen to you think. I can't hear myself think normally in this room. Living just a promise I made. Oh. So that was, didn't know what I was in for. And wow, what a way to start off the album. Like, definitely Phoebe Bridgers-esque lyrics. Like, feeling stream of consciousness, but like, you know, there's definitely some more grounding to it, which I felt like was the case of how Julian Baker and Lucy Dacus did for Phoebe in Boy Genius. Like, I feel like when she collaborates, like, it gets into a song that does have much more of a traditional structure, but like, I'm fine in whatever structure she chooses to work with, whether it's traditional or not. Like, I really like this song. Like, it definitely gives us a taste of what we're in for. Like, very socially oriented, like dealing with problems like refugees, like cancer. Like, there's just a lot of things going on in this song itself. And like, you know, you can go fully on and analyze it. One metaphor or analogy, some literary device that I saw that I really, really appreciated was I didn't know I was in for when I laid out in the sun, which basically just means, you know, you're not hiding in the shadows, you're not hiding in the shade, like, you're gonna show yourself for all the world to see. Like, she didn't realize that she would get burned for being honest, or they didn't realize they'd get burned for being honest, which I think is so interesting, because it's like, oh, you're putting yourself in the spotlight, which is like the sunlight, and so you're getting sunburned, which I can personally relate to as the person with my skin tone. Like, definitely relatable. And that's so interesting, like, we're into being honest, whereas people who aren't being honest, like, then they hide in the shadows, like, they just don't get, like, repercussions for their actions. And so that's, like, interesting. And, like, that was something I did catch on the first listen. But there's, like, plenty more devices. You know, Phoebe's a mastermind when it comes to lyrics. I'm sure Conor Oberst isn't bad either. Like, this definitely feels like an earlier type of song where the lyrics and how she creates a song are definitely there, but like definitely not as like a hard hitting song as like a Punisher in terms of like just in your face production. It's not really here, but I do really like it. Track number 2 is a Sleepwalkin. Oh, they counted us in and boom. Oh, this is led much more by Conor to his vocals. They spent another way Sleepwalkin. Oh, I like how we picked it up here. Feels nice. Oh, and now we slowed down. Okay, tempo, playing with it. Oh, here's Phoebe. I don't know how this production works with her voice. The production's just more in your face, so it's harder for me to decipher lyrics. It wasn't the way it was, like, it's not as fun as, like, what I remember. It definitely has some, like, throwback, like, band in a garage feel. Spinning in a whirlpool of forget-me-nots. Oh, bring this guitar in, let's go. Oh, okay, that's an interesting way to fade out. So that was Sleepwalkin', and that was a fun number, like definitely a different vibe than didn't know what I was in for. I didn't know I was in for that, you know? Like, it's fun, like production wise, like so cool. Like, I classified it as like a band, you know, from a garage, just like in how it's like produced a little bit, but like it does sound like very professionally done. And like, I guess the difference is that like it experiments so much in a cool way. Like the tempo changes. Like, I just don't hear nowadays much music that will change tempo regularly throughout the song. Like, you know, sometimes you'll randomly get like a part that's like slower towards the beginning or the end, or like a part that, like, you know, increases in speed, but like this one like goes faster and then goes slower, then faster and slower, like, which is just like not something I'm used to. And I like that, you know, they're showing it's alternative music because it's alternative to what the norm is. There's a lot of cool images. I think my favorite one is the whirlpool of forget-me-nots, which, you know, it's flower imagery of swirling around you, but also like you could think of it almost like memories. And there's plenty of other images. I don't want to dive too much into lyrics because really there's a ton of like information on like Genius lyrics and, you know, I'm sure like lyric meanings and stuff like that, which, you know, diehard fans definitely put there. Like, I don't feel like I'm the spokesperson for that. So while I will be bringing up some images that really speak to me, or just with the general message of the song, which I think this is about some dialogue in a relationship, like, I don't want to be the main person who you get that source from. Like, hopefully, like, it probably, if you're watching this, you probably know more about this album than I do. So feel free to share in the comments below. We can make this an educational space as well. The only thing I'm not quite sure about with this song is like whether Phoebe's voice fully goes in this song, like if it blends correctly. Like, that's something that I'll have to just listen to with headphones, just because I feel like my speaker often doesn't do Phoebe's voice justice, but also like especially like with a stronger production, and then his voice was a little bit bigger, so like, I mean, it was more emphasizing him anyway, so I don't know how well her voice mixes in, but we will find out. Track number 3 is Dylan Thomas. Ooh, this is, you know, up tempo for this acoustic sound. Hit me without warning. The confetti made it hard to see. Ooh. These voices together feel very well mixed. The truth is anybody's guess. Ooh. The king's only playing a game of 4-dimensional chess. Ooh, I like that image. That kid is just a ghost in a sheet. Ooh. Ooh, bringing that guitar. So that was Dylan Thomas. And that was a little lovely number. Like, it felt happy. I don't think it's a happy song at all. Like, it's about, you know, dealing about ambiguity of life. Like, how can we know what's true, what's not? Like, that ghost is just a kid in a sheet. I think I said the opposite. Like, that kid is just a ghost in the sheet when I was reciting the lyric, which doesn't make much sense at all now, does it? But, you know, we live. Dylan Thomas was apparently a Welsh poet who died pretty much of alcoholism, like at 39, I think it was. And so that's really interesting that he's been put in here. Apparently this is also the last song that they wrote for the record. They didn't think they were going to actually put the song on the record, but then they did. So good for them. Like, it's a lovely song. I can definitely, like, feel like I can groove to it. Like, it's definitely not as in your face as Sleepwalkin, but it's also very interesting, very entertaining. Like, there's a lot of cool images, like the 4-dimensional chest, the confetti makes it so you can't see. Like, again, so many images, can't get into all of them, but it's a Phoebe Bridgers song, technically. I know it's Better Oblivion Community Center, but like, it's a Phoebe Bridgers inspired track. I'm not surprised in the slightest. Track number 4 is Service Road. Ooh, sound very acoustic. I'm kind of confused about the narrative of the song. I think it's about their brother. Don't state your name, that doesn't count. For what? Who are you? Your name doesn't count? Okay. Feels very like ground rumbly. Joking until the bitter end. Did someone die? Oh, the percussion here is just wonderful, immaculate. There's some tension there, like the rumbling feels real. Ooh, that's a shift. Oh, that percussion is hitting. Ooh, I like this percussion. I love that. Oh, they're just gonna like fade out from that. So that was Service Road, and ooh, dark songs. Yep, very much so. Yeah, so I was pretty actually on the mark when reacting. I was like, is it about someone's brother, and is it like about someone dying? I mean, I used 3 words. It was like, you should really call your brother, and then he was funny till the bitter end. Like, I guess those things are kind of obvious. But, you know, for our first listen, I'll take it. Like, I'll take that. I'll be proud of that. But basically, it's about Conor's older brother, Matt, who unfortunately drank himself to death pretty much, which is really unfortunate. And so kind of just dealing with that, like, oh, like, they've been an alcoholic, they've tried to go through so many sobriety programs because it's not good for them, and like, they just are going in this really vicious cycle, and it doesn't end well. And so, like, very dark, very sad type of song. I like the song sonically, and like lyrically, I'm impressed that they talk so openly about this. They really laid it all out in the sun, so I appreciate that from them. And like, yeah, sonically I also really enjoy it. Like, it is not as speedy as a couple of the previous diss tracks, which I'm happy with because it still captured my attention. There's still a lot of good percussion in there. The percussion, honestly, was really, really good. So I'm really happy about that. Track number 5, Exception to the Rule. Oh, what is that? Nothing satisfactory. Now I don't leave this couch. Me neither. Pandemic. There's always an exception to the rule. True. Why don't you want it anymore? I think their voices on this song are also mixing very well together. Nice sentiment, not this again. I know where that talk goes. They've seen this film before. Oh, I like that way that they're outroing this. So that was Exception to the Rule, and that was a pretty lovely song. Like, I keep thinking there's gonna be a song that gets me like distracted or like kind of bored, and I haven't gotten that yet. And I guess that's because like Phoebe doesn't typically do a lot of boring songs, but I feel like also maybe, I mean, I don't know much about Conor in general, but it seems like the production he's adding here allows for less sleepier melodies and like sounds. Like the percussion here, I mean, she did really great on Punisher with that, don't get me wrong, but like if I was thinking about some of the older stuff I've heard from her, like it does feel a little bit more like stripped and minimal, whereas like I feel like the songs that seem like they have more Conor influence in it do feel like they get a little bit more heavy in terms of production. I think the song lyrically is about like a relationship that shouldn't be, or you both think shouldn't be, and you're like, oh, I'm never gonna date my exes again, or I don't know, some other rule, but they're of course the exception to the rule. And so dealing with that, like it seems like that's the dialogue that's happening here, maybe similar to the Sleepwalkin like sense, but like I don't know, like it's an interesting ponderance. It's a shorter song, so it's definitely something I need to listen to more, and also it has not that many annotations, so I haven't gained a lot of knowledge about it as much as the other songs, so feel free to share your thoughts down below, like every other song. I keep asking that. Track number 6 is Chesapeake. Oh, feels like very pleasant. The world won't remember when we're old and tired. You put me on your shoulders so I could see. We became the tallest person in Chesapeake. Didn't know what they were singing about. Sometimes that's how I feel about you. Oh, that's an interesting sonic component. Oh, they played a no one in a parking lot. Okay, I feel like this song has gotten more confusing as we've gone on. Sweet Child of Mine, is that Guns N' Roses reference? Now you stand on a corner and hope you get recognized. Oh. You asked me to turn it down, but I didn't even think it was loud. Oh, I like that. Oh, that when to end. So that was Chesapeake, and wow, I think I'm falling in love with this album, and specifically like with the lyrics of this song. Like, it's about how the big artists of today might not be this like artists you think are that good, whereas like the artists that like deserve a lot more success, like they don't get as much royal treatment, or they fade over time. So there's references to a lot of older artists like Sweet Child of Mine, like Guns N' Roses, and like there's other ones in there as well. But basically, they're falling in love with the musician that's playing outside the whole arena, like in an empty parking lot, rather than like, you know, someone who's getting paid to perform and being the headline act and everything, which is so interesting, and I think very much encapsulates their sense of like alternative, like definitely captures that ethos rather than, you know, like, you know, conforming to the mainstream artists. Like, while there are plenty of mainstream artists, especially ones that I talk about on my channel, that are awesome and doing great, and they deserve all the love and appreciation and support that they're getting. Like, there are artists that can get away with a lot of mediocrity and still be very successful. And I think that's more of who Phoebe and Conor are more talking about here. And yeah, like, I liked the song sonically. It was a little slower, but like I still vibed with it. And like, I like it lyrically as well. And honestly, I'm just not having any duds with this album so far, which is very exciting. I'm gonna knock on wood that like it's not gonna get boring or sleepy, but like I'm definitely very alert with it. I'm definitely very interested in it, and you know, like, they're really good at writing lyrics. Like, I love how they make the mundane things of like a certain experience be laced with so much metaphor. It's so cool. It's something, I mean, I've seen it with like some other artists, but like no one does it in this distinctive way, and I think that's really a gift that Phoebe is bestowing upon all of us, and Conor too. Don't let me forget about him. I just know Phoebe more. Track number 7 is My City. Ooh, it's got a little bit of a western country sound. They're looking out at a lot of things. A lot of things that are little as well. They go into all different categories. I miss you, where are you now? Now, the same with this town. They are doing a lot of anaphora. Oh, that's a switch in production. Wear a smile like it's camouflage. Ooh. Today I went walking while things explode. All this freedom just freaks me out. I like this rock element in here. Like, it definitely gives some diversity to the sound. Sound being sound and song at the same time. So that was My City, and what an interesting song. Lyrically, my favorite part of the song is talking about the 4th of July celebrations and being like, today I went walking while things explode. Some sad independence. Ooh, social commentary on, you know, the state of the United States. And like trying to be just as loud as the fireworks, like that desire, but all that freedom freaks you out. Like, that gives so much metaphor there. There's so much in there. You could like literally spend 20 minutes in an English class literally breaking that down. And like, who knows? Maybe someone has, maybe someone will, because wow, that's like really cool. I think that would be interesting to break down actually. However, like, I feel like in terms of the rest of the song's lyrics outside of that metaphor, like, it's not as exciting. Like, repetition of like the same words at the start of several sentences like is great when you're doing like a persuasive paper, but like the amount it was used for the verses didn't really excite me that much. Like, yeah, it's like fine, I guess, and like it's really just like talking about their city, which I believe is just LA. So like, oh, this is just LA life. But I mean, I guess it's less glamorous, which I like that they're talking about that, but I feel like also every song I hear about LA it's all real sad. So like, doesn't make me want to move there in any capacity. But I feel like definitely compared to the rest of the songs in the album, the lyrical depth on here is a little lacking. Like, I think the firework thing is really cool, but I don't think it's consistent enough throughout the whole song that like it would really like hit home for me. And sonically, I like it, but it definitely does have a sound that I can get a little sleepier. I know that it does pick up at certain points, but like, yeah, I think there's just enough of the song that's just like, for me, at least on my first listen, that I can't say with certainty that, oh, like I'll definitely like really like this song. Track number 8 is Forest Lawn. Are we in 3? Like 3/4 time? We're either in 3/4 time or we have just like made it like a weird slow 4/4. Since you went underground, does that mean like since they died? My heart will go on. Oh, that is referencing death, I feel like. I wanted to track you down since you went underground, so did they just like become under the radar? Dig you out, that sounds much more like the person has passed away. You wanted to end up in Forest Lawn? I don't know what that is. Please tell me it's true. Like, they don't know if they ended up there. You used to sing Que Sera Sera. Oh, that's a lovely song. So that was Forest Lawn. And I have thoughts, for sure. Like, first of all, sonically, very pretty song. Very, like, pleasant song. Very calm, but, like, not sleepy song. Like, I like it. I like that they do whatever they do with the time signature or just how they emphasize certain beats. I'm not quite sure, like, on a piece of sheet music what it looks like, but sounds lovely. And lyrically, like, wow, okay, there's definitely some interesting stuff going on. I'm not quite sure if the person's dead or just like dead to them, and I don't think the song actually confirms it, which, you know, I don't like that uncertainty. I would like to know. Like, I'm sure Conor, Phoebe know, but like, okay, interesting. Like, seems like it was a former roommate of probably Conor's. I don't know, like, I don't know the background of it, but like, yeah, there's a lot of images here, and again, definitely encourage you to look them up if you're interested. Like, yeah, there's a lot of like death imagery, but also like, oh, you just went underground, or I just don't know who you are anymore, and like, yeah, or you moved on, you do something different now, we've grown apart. Like, there's that longing that's definitely in this song, and it's unclear whether it's longing for the person to just, you know, make a reappearance in your life, or a longing for that person to, you know, come back to life. And I don't know, it definitely has the vibe of a grief song, but like, the fact that it's not clearly mentioned, I don't know. Like, honestly, please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. What you think. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely an interesting one. It's not something that is as natural to like as some of the earlier songs. I think I will like it. I started growing with it like towards the end, and I also was warming up to it while reading the lyrics because it got more interesting, and so like hearing those lyrics will be very like useful in liking the song more. It could have the potential to be one of my favorites, but definitely it will be more of a grower track than an instant love. Track number 9 is a Big Black Heart. Oh, seems like we're picking it up a little bit. Black hair is red? I laughed when I saw your chest. Huh? You showed me the rest of you. Oh, is this a sensual, intimate scene? I like this like thing in the background. Oh, they were going a little interesting with the guitar. Oh, we have picked it up a little bit. You stopped in the middle of the street. I thought you stopped the world. Oh, we're looking back at a romantic thing. Oh, that got very heavy. Oh, they're kind of scream singing. I'll wrap my head around it. Oh, I have to wrap my head around this. Make room for something else. Okay. Oh, I really did get electric there. So that was a big black heart, and wow, that was an interesting experimental type track. Like the in-your-face production at the end. Wow. Okay, give me some more of that. I'm a fan of that. Like, it seems like this is a very like sensual like encounter that's being recounted here, and like I'm assuming the black hair is red thing is like saying that like their hair like up here does not match like the hair that's like on their chest or like on their body or whatever. Like that's my guess on that, and like I assume that's why you'd laugh. Like I don't see how you'd laugh otherwise when you someone's like body and it still be like a cute, comfortable, like sensual thing. Like I don't know. Maybe like the person is like super attractive underneath their clothes and they just weren't expecting that. That's definitely a possibility. I don't know their lives like that. I really like the metaphor that's getting laced in here. Like they never cross their heart, but they're, you know, stopping in the middle of a street just to kiss you, which, you know, danger, lack of commitment, like what's going on, and also just even like the pulling the curtains back to take in the view, like, you know, as you open up windows or whatever. But like I assume that's also like taking off the speaker, the song's clothes. Like that's a really like poetic way to put it. Makes it seem very romantic in my opinion. And yeah, I do like the song. Like it seems like they're again much like the Exception to the Rule song, as well as Sleepwalking is dealing with like a relationship that's probably not the best, but you know, dealing with some of the good parts, dealing with some of the bad parts, dealing with some of the chaos and the gray areas. And like it's a like nice song. Like I enjoy it. Sonically has a lot of cool components that they play with, and I think it'll be really interesting to hear in headphones. Track number 10, last track on this album, Dominos. All I hear is crickets. I like that little like voice memo sound. Oh, they're still going with the memo. Okay. Trade sleep for drinks in a bar. That doesn't sound healthy. I've been playing Dominoes. I've been trying to wreck no cars. I don't want to hold nobody's hand. I hope it shows up in the setting sun. What? I can hear a voice but speaking code and then goes into a voice memo? Okay. I can talk to angels while I'm all alone. Oh. Oh. Did you see that switch? I heard it for sure. Okay. Phoebe getting her little solo moment. Okay. you're not feeling ready, there's always tomorrow. Oh, switch up. Let's take it out. Oh, that's a quick way to end. So that was Dominos, and I just found out that that song is a cover, and I don't know, that feels really weird for them to do. Like, first of all, have a cover on their otherwise pretty much originals album, but also, like, that's how you're gonna end your album. Like, that just feels different, and, like, lyrically, I'm pretty sure it's all the same except for that voice memo, where apparently Conor is seeing the sound of crickets because he has synesthesia. Okay, King, me too. Like, love that. And, like, yeah, like, that's cool that they, you know, put their own spin on it. Lyrically, it's not really a song that I fully vibe to. Like, it kind of feels out of place here because it's definitely not a song that they, like, you know, wrote. Like, that's just how I feel about it. Like, it was very evident. I was like, why is this song here? Like, it just doesn't sound like the rest of the songs, and it's a cover, so that makes sense. But, like, yeah, it's talking, you know, about, like, being drunk or not basically being able to get out of your habits and your old ways that are, you know, holding you back. And, like, I get that that's a good message and a relatable message for a lot of people. I try to avoid this type of song because I feel like it can put me into old habits. I'm not an alcoholic or anything like that, but, like, you know, just, like, you know, dealing with things in a way that helps you move on is something that I find very good for me, rather than, you know, I guess, you know, fully going into that mood of that past, if that makes sense. So it definitely is a really interesting way to end the album. I don't think it's going to be one of my favorites. It might be my least favorite. That or My City are the two lower tracks I'm feeling just on my first listen alone. Of course, I'll listen to the album again in full, but, like, those two I'm feeling like, and they just don't feel as, like, you know, classic Phoebe and Conor, like, working together to make something, like, insanely good. I think production-wise, it's, like, fine, like this last song, Dominos, but, like, I don't know. When I hear a cover, I can tell that it's a cover. I just really, it feels like it. It doesn't feel like they fully, like, vibe with the lyrics, like, that's so personal to them as much as the other songs on this project. And yeah, I also just don't connect to it message-wise, so that's not me trying to be harsh or anything like that. It's just like, it's this one's just not for me. With that said, we have finished this album, and I have to say I am very impressed with how this album turned out. Like, yeah, like, ooh, if I were to put it between this and Boy Genius, I know Boy Genius is technically an EP. I think I like this one better. Maybe it has more of the rock influences that I feel like we got to see on Punisher, and Boy Genius was a little more pretty acoustic, and I think that's probably because also the influence of, like, Julian and maybe Lucy. Like, it definitely feels, generally speaking, that they have a pretty, like, chill, very laid back sense. I feel like Phoebe and Conor can get more into the rock together, and I really appreciate that. I think it makes their songs sound really cool. I like that they, you know, alternate with time. They play with volume. They play with, like, perceived loudness. They play with a lot of things. Like, the lyrics are, for the most part, always on point. And so, yeah, I think it's a really good project. Did they date at one point, and then they made this album while they were dating, and then they're not together, so they're unlikely to do a follow-up? I feel like that was what I read, but I could be completely wrong on that, so please let me know. But that means we probably wouldn't get a follow-up to this project if that's the case. If it's not, then I would love to hear a follow-up to it. I mean, I'd love to hear anything from Phoebe. And this album also definitely gets me really interested into what Conor Oberst is doing. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, feel like I'm liking the songs more that feel like they have much more of Phoebe influence than the ones that just have more of a Conor influence. But I don't know how much of each song is each person's idea. Like, I don't know. I feel like they can blend together pretty well, but there are times where I'm like, oh yeah, Phoebe did that. Or, oh, like, Phoebe agreed to it, but it might not have been, like, what she came up with. And I think it's cool that they collaborated. Like, I think Phoebe collaborating with different artists has given her, like, a lot of ability to play and experiment, and it sounds like something that she really enjoys doing. But, like, I definitely am very excited to, you know, hear more solo stuff from Phoebe, possibly even hear some solo stuff from Conor, just so I get more of a basis of who's doing what in production, who's, you know, pouring out more of their story in the process. With that said, here are some of my favorites. So top tier are the songs that I love, the standouts, the ones I'm going to be playing over and over again. Songs in the middle are the songs I like. They're also getting added to my playlist, but like they might not be, you know, the top of the top. And then songs at the bottom are songs I just didn't really vibe with. They might not be like my style. Doesn't mean they're a bad song, doesn't mean they can't be your favorite song. It just probably isn't for me, and that's okay. We have different music tastes. Like, don't make it like Chesapeake and make it feel like, oh, I only like the mainstream songs or whatever. Like, yeah, we all have different tastes, and you know, it makes us human. If you like this video, please like it, please comment down below what you'd like for me to react or listen to next. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already and you'd like to be, and thanks for watching. This is TurtleStormer. Catch you later.
It's storming turtles from out of the sky. Turtles don't need to know why. Just smile big, open your eyes. It's storming turtles from out of the sky. Turtles don't need to know why. Just smile big, open your eyes.